Welcome to the Bodysurf podcast with your budgie boys, Tim and Owie, hydrated by Hairy Man Brewery. And tonight we have an amazing guest lined up for you. Owie, let them know what they've won.
Mate, we're not going it straight into it. We got to introduce our guest here because he's a very, very special guest, as you said. Peter Sperling, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Are you happy to be here though? Because I feel as if a lot of our guests aren't. They just do it because we're the only people doing kind of body surfing chat.
Look, I put off other engagements tonight, but I think I had something else on the speaking circuit. But anyway, Monday night, stop prime real estate.
Yeah, that's right. Now, Timmy, as you said, we do have a huge bit of body surfing brilliance here right now for the podcast. This is huge. We've got the Patinga. We're giving it away. And the votes are in.
Are they though?
The votes for the voting's finished.
I feel like we have a bit of a Trump Biden situation on our hands.
No. It's all finished, mate.
There's no fraudulent votes.
No. There's no post-in votes, mate. The voting's closed. It closed at 8 p.m. And the final numbers, they're being crunched as we speak.
Yes.
By executive EP. Wolfo, and we've got him on the line.
He needed some time though. I don't think he's ready.
No, he'll be right.
Wolfo, are you ready?
I'm not ready.
We're crossing to the tally room. He's working tirelessly to get this counted for us. But what a big prize this is going to be. So let's give Wolfo a little bit of time. And I've got some filler before we get into Sperlo's interview because oh man. Some people have been stitching up real good.
That's good.
But last week we did the Master Bait Boy Cup. Now this was huge. This was a big success, and one of your sporting icons has been in touch with us, Owie.
Oh really?
Yeah, they were very impressed by your call.
Oh, the call.
Do you want to hear what they had to say?
Yes, I do.
Hey Owie, it's Big Bev from the Bev Show here. I just listened to your great call of the Melbourne Cup on the Bodysurf podcast, and I love your work, mate. Keep on body surfing and keep on punting. And don't forget, it's overhead when you're body surfing. Woohoo! You beauty! You ripper dipper!
He's given us the U Beauty. How good's that? He is one of my idols, the Big Bever. Shot to fame through supporting the Hobart Hurricanes.
I think the only supporter of the Hurricanes.
Yeah, he loves a punt. He loves the Western Bulldogs. So shout out to Big Bev down there in sunny Tasmania. I wonder if we could get him body surfing one day. There's some good breaks down there. And I'll bring Sperlo in on this one because as we'll find out a little bit more about you, coming up in our interview, you're a bit of a big wave guy.
Yeah, I've been known to go a few larger waves in my time, but we did have a mission earlier this year that we sadly had to abort. We pulled the pin on it, but we were sort of aiming on getting down there to ship sterns, and the wind was just looking a bit iffy. I think it was late February, and we pulled the pin, and I reckon it was probably 1-2 weeks later, Tassie was off the cards. Skunked by COVID.
Yes, well, I don't think Bev would be. I think he's maybe a little bit of a beginner for that.
Right.
But one day you never know. You never know, Timmy. We could be able to. We could be able to get Bev down there, even if he's calling the Bodysurf podcast, mate. We've got listeners all around the nation, and listen, thank you so much, Bev, for that. I'm starstruck.
Well, if you haven't heard of Bev, he's a fanatic sports fan from Tasmania, loves the Bodysurf podcast. So hopefully we can get him on the show one day, but. He's just one of those guys that is such a good presenter, Owie, and we've got a lot to learn from him. But I think he was very impressed with your call. Probably didn't understand the concept of it.
No. Did you send him the call that I did live on the show, or the other call that I pre-recorded?
I don't think he's listened to it.
Oh, yes. That's upsetting. All right, let's get back to Wolfo because I'm running out of credit here.
Let's cross live to the tally room. Wolfo, how's it going in there, mate?
All right, the votes are in. The tally's complete.
Here we go. All right. I think you should start with 5. Now, I'll just before you get into the results there, I just want to shout out our good friend Hamish for getting a total of 0 votes.
Right.
Because obviously we've seen the votes, and so he's got a total of 0 votes in a competition that he could have actually voted for himself in. So well done there, mate. So I'm guessing last is Hamish. Wolfo, can you please confirm?
Yeah, just confirming Hamish on 0 donut points. Yeah, well done, Hamish.
I actually liked it.
Yeah,
I thought it was quite a good concept. The whole not COVID, it's WOMP deprivation syndrome, and I think it had merit. But you know what? It wasn't what the voters wanted.
That's right. In 4th position, Johnny Watson. I actually really liked this one, but it only got 1 vote.
Oh.
Yeah, and I thought that was a bit upsetting as well because I like John's. John went to a bit of effort. He put together a little montage of all the body surfing that he'd done, and then said that the Patinga would be fitting into his little slot there instead of the Taylor's mistake, I think it was. And I'm upsetting to see that didn't get more votes, Wolfo.
Yeah.
You'd think
Okay, now we're into the kind of big 3. In 3rd place was the vote for E, which was Dylan Moore. He got 61.
Wow. That's a lot of votes.
big.
So yeah, we came down to the last 2, which was Georgia and Scotty. Scotty from Socko.
Have we got a drum roll here, Timmy? No, he's shaking his head.
Oh, please.
We've got nothing.
And much like the US election, we've been waiting for Georgia's late votes to come in. But
Did you write that one, Wolfo?
hey, y'all.
Oh, that's good.
But she's fallen short. Scotty has taken it out, 109 to 90.
Oh, so it actually was quite close. And then
Very
I saw
close.
Georgia having a late surge. But there you go, Scotty. Scotty from the Stocko Wampers.
How good.
He's come in 109 to 90. And well done to him. And what a video it was.
It was. I really like Georgia, so condolences, Georgia. It was a great video. Thanks for sending it through. But the Stocko boys have got a new toy to play with.
Yeah.
How good is
There
that?
you go. Now, Wolfo, thank you for tallying the votes there in Trump Tower. And what do you got on for the rest of the night, mate? You're not here with us tonight, so.
No, I'm just actually down on the south coast at the moment, but I'm tuning in watching the podcast.
Yeah, sorry about that, mate. Just faded out. We'll catch up with Wolfo a little later.
Now, this must be very confusing to Peter. You've never listened to the podcast before. You have no idea what's going on right now.
Complete virgin.
To be fair, I don't really know what's going on right now either. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, awesome to give away such a great prize. And we've given it away. We've got a clean slate now, Owie.
Yes, we do.
And we've got some big stuff coming up, so that's going to be incredible. I'm very excited about this new stuff. This whole desk that we're sitting behind is full of prizes.
It is, yeah. So we've got another giveaway coming. This one's going to take absolutely no skill. Now, we're not actually officially launching this until next week, are we?
That's right. But we can tease it.
We tease it, a little bit of a teaser. If you've ever gone into a meat tray raffle down the local pub or the RSL, it's effectively that, but for body surfing.
And you won't get food poisoning from this.
Well, you might. I don't know. Some of those stickers could be edible. It's not. So in a couple of weeks, we're going to launch the official Christmas, biggest Christmas body surfing giveaway ever. We don't have a name. That's the working title. So if you've got a better one, maybe leave it in the comments. And if not, please purchase some tickets. They're going to be available through our Instagram page. Just send us a direct message.
Yeah, we'll have some more news on that in the coming weeks. But let's turn our attention to our very special guest on tonight's show, Peter Sperling. You've been sort of suggested as a guest for a long time, especially by your good friend, cute boy Corey. He's been wanting you to come on this podcast for a while, and he's been sending through a few stitch-ups. I'm not sure if we're going to get into them tonight, but we want to learn a little bit about you because you're one of the original body surfers. Corey wanted us to call you a handboarder.
Oh, yeah, that's getting a little sensitive.
I found it fairly insulting that you'd had no idea who we were.
I didn't.
like Corey told you that Tim's name was John.
He did. I quickly sorted that out, though, and I thought that was a stitch-up.
Yeah, well, I get it, mate. You're Australia's Mark Cunningham. You're Grandpa Solander.
I'm a little bit younger than Mark.
How much younger? How old are you, mate? Is that okay to say?
Yeah, I'm 48.
All right.
Yeah,
You're almost 50. What are you
yeah,
doing for the big 5-0?
I don't know. Will they let us out of the country?
Yeah, probably 2 years,
Probably.
mate.
Maybe I'll go to the Maldives.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Over the
Be nice.
Maldives. Now, I was actually
If
going
not
to.
Tahiti.
Oh, I was going to ask this question. Have you surfed many waves around the world?
I've done a bit of surfing over in California. Lots of surfing in Fiji, Indo. Yeah, a few waves around the place.
So tell us a bit more about you. Who are you, mate? Well, I mean, you don't know us. We don't know you. We want to get to know you. The body surfing community want to get to know you. I feel as if since I started taking body surfing more seriously, I would always hear about Sperlo who surfs out at Cape Solander and only goes out when it's big and heavy. And then I found out you're an old salt. You're an all seasons body surfer.
Look, it's just balancing that work and family commitments that you got to get it when it's on. So if it's a pumping week, I'll try and get out there 2, 3, 4 times. Then I might go 2 or 3 weeks without getting away. So just whatever the gods throw. But I just don't have the time. I'd love to get in the water every day, but I just don't have the time to go out there and pursue that. So life.
So where did the love start, mate? Where was it? Were you a grom? Did you get into it late?
Mate, I was thinking about it on the drive out. I actually I sort of discovered it a bit myself, just with the fins as a sort of 6-7-year-old, straight ahead at the shore. But I would say that proper body surfing was actually taught to me by a girl when I was about 10 years old.
Wow.
And she was about 5 years older than me. But, and that was up at that sort of Shoal Bay sort of neck of the woods up there. Zenith Beach, I think, was maybe where I first got my first tube. And then, so I played around with it. I always liked it and enjoyed it. And then when I was a board surfer right through my sort of teen years, and in my sort of, 21 or so, I got a knee reconstruction, and it was 6 months off the surfboard. So I was like, I'm getting back on the body surfing and doing it at a bit of a different level than I did sort of standing on the sandbar. So, I did use a handboard in those days.
Right. So I'm guessing you don't use a handboard as much anymore.
No, although there is some footage floating around, possibly with me using one. But no, when I went over and decided I was going to compete at Pipe in 2001, which was no handboard event. It was, so I ditched the handboard in, I say them because I was using wave blades for a year or two before that.
You're the first person. We're sponsored by Wave Blades.
Not the ones from the US. The one on each hand.
The one on each hand, yeah.
Okay.
We're not actually sponsored by Wave Blades, but we're unofficially sponsored by Wave Blades.
Yeah, well, that's a funny story because, Bob Davis, who was the guy, I don't even know if Bob Davis is still alive, but, I went over because my wife's from California, and I was over there and went down to his garage in Oceanside to get them injection molded onto my hands. And, and it came with a bit of danger about it too. He's like, sometimes the neoprene leaks and it'll rip a piece of skin off when it comes off. But, I took it, lost no skin in there. But, reformed my style.
How did they go?
Really good.
Yeah?
Really good. Yeah, they took a bit, only the small ones. The big ones, I reckon, would have been a bit tougher. But the good thing about them was, I went actually before that, I'd been using a pod for, I'm ashamed to say, really.
Don't worry, mate. He doesn't listen.
Yeah, good. Hit me up on Instagram. So I was using a pod on the right arm, and my right shoulder's still blowing out from using a pod. So it reformed my style back to going left and right the way nature intended. And then there was like the training wheels got off those for pipe, and been predominantly off them ever since.
How did you to make the transition from stand up to body surfing? And then also you're known as a big wave guy. Did you start off in the big stuff, or did you go to some smaller beach breaks before?
I think when I was riding a board and got my knee reconstruction, I was like comfortable in waves, 6 to 8 foot sort of waves. I wouldn't have said I was really an all-time great board surfer, but it would certainly. I was not fearful of catching waves, and there's certain advantages of not having to worry about a board in big waves.
Absolutely. Now we've touched on a bit of gear before, and you actually have some flippers that I'm very fond of. But we should probably get into what gear you ride with now. Now you are more of a freestyler. You don't use the hand boards or the hand planes. First of all, do you have a floppy bucket? Do you know what a floppy bucket is?
I do have a floppy bucket.
Great.
Yes,
So what is in your floppy bucket?
At this time of year, I've still probably got the steamer in the floppy bucket, and I've got a pair of tech fins which I use, and so the rubber ones, and a tub of Vaseline, not for Corey, mind you, and there's a bit of a delay there. It's a delayed telecast.
Can you say that? Like, how old is he?
And I think I've got some zinc cream that's probably got about 12 years out of it. It's it's more powder than anything else.
Now, why the rubber techs? Because I have the Tech 2s and absolutely love them because they're so comfortable. Are the rubber ones just as comfy?
Look, I've used rubber ones since Don McCready gave me my first pair, which lasted 20 years actually in the late 90s, and they're stiffer than the silicone ones. So
bit more power.
Yeah, definitely more power. I'd say they're certainly not as stiff as the fin, but I think it's a good sort of compromise. So they served me well for many years.
Now, when was the first time you hit Cape?
I probably somewhere around 2002, 2003. It was just after Cape had featured on the front of Tracks magazine with the Bra Boys. I think Richie Vass getting launched out of the lip on a 10-footer, and it always fascinated me where that wave was, and so I asked a lot of questions, and then I ended up. Glenn Duffus was the photographer who ended up being the photographer at my brother's wedding. So, he told me all about where it was. And, so first day out there was not great. I remember Mark Matthews was out there. But, it was a bit of a choppy sort of onshore day. But I did, in the early days, I did all of my original surfing out there more at middles. That was really the wave that I chased. And, and still, I still think is the best body surfing wave on the planet. So it's just fickle as. You
said it was a bit choppy. Do you remember getting many waves that day?
I got a few waves, not a lot of waves. I don't think anybody got a lot of waves, but it certainly whet my appetite.
So when did the passion for that wave start? Was it launched that day, or did you have another session that really got you going?
I think for that first 5+ years, it was all about middles.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Cape was at the time, the Bra Boys were beating up the bodyboarders out there, so there were never any bodyboarders. You'd get down there often, there'd be no one out. You'd be praying that there'd be someone out. And I would never used to go out there on the sort of days I go out now. It was like, it was kind of known it's only a low tide wave, but, we surf it on all sorts of tides now, and often, keeps the crowd down at high tide. So,
When did you meet Corey,
probably I don't know, what's he, about 15 now? Well, he must have been 12.
He only looks 15. He's a little bit older.
Is his mum still driving him?
Out to Cape. I think he did go out to Cape with his mum the first couple of times. Power to him.
I think he was about 17. So it was only really. I mean, for me, it seems like really not that long in the grand scheme of things of being out there for sort of 17, 18 years. Yeah.
So how has it changed over the past, I guess, 20 years almost you've been surfing Cape? How have you seen it change? And I guess body surfers going out there, I seem to have this idea that inadvertently we've changed the perception of Cape, because people look at it now and go, well, if someone can body surf it, I can surf it, or I can bodyboard it. Has it lost its fear a little bit?
I think it has. I think it's lost its fear for everybody. I mean, 10 years ago, you'd surf out there when the board riders are out there. They'd be lucky to be 4, 5 or 6 people in the water. Now you get days where there's like 20 or 30 people in the water. So, jet skis galore and photographers. In the early days, you get there was always like Macca that'd shoot from land, but you'd never get anyone out shooting in the water.
And I guess what do you think the perception is of body surfers in the water now? Like, did you used to get yelled at, for instance?
No, look, I remember particularly that Kobe Aberden used to come down there. He was like the enforcer. If anyone showed up with
he sent an Instagram the other day saying he's coming back.
Yeah.
He's going to boot all the boogs to the island.
Yeah. There's some pretty solid units amongst the boog community these days. So like I remember, one of my mates, Dean, who we were down there. We've been down there suiting up to go at middles on big. Just middles always big ugly days, and he'd come and it'd be like 5 o'clock. It'd be just on dawn in the car park. He'd be like, "What are you guys doing?" He'd be like, "We're body surfers," and he'd be like, he could tell the wheels were ticking over. He said, "What do I think about body surfers? I don't have a paradigm for that." But he's like, "That's okay then." So no, we never really got much shit there. In the original days, it was just board riders and body surfers, and so that kind of worked really well, because you can't really get, although the level of the surfing's definitely improved out there, but you can't really get those real steep takeoffs so much on a board. So, they'd often be leaving behind ones that'd be, perfect. So, certainly I look back at it as the good old days now.
And do you think it's, you said the good old days, what about now? When I go out surfing now, I feel as if everyone's just more happy. Everyone's happier. I remember surfing as a grom, and where everyone was kind of like just fighting each other for waves and yelling at each other if you dropped in, which is fair enough. But like, there was just not, like, it was never fun surfing when I was younger. But now I find like everyone's calling each other onto waves and happy. And do you find that still? I think most of the places, I think there's a certain respect amongst most people that you either know what you're doing or you're not getting any waves. If you're not getting any waves, as long as you're not getting in anyone's way, then everyone's cool with that. Otherwise, everyone respects it. So I've never had any sort of aggro out there. Even when I've dropped in on a few people from occasionally. Not Ricky. Ricky's the one that drops in on me, but anyway. Yeah. But, he sits on the shoulder, doesn't he?
Yeah. Well, not as far out as Nick, but but in between.
But Nick gets all the good photos. That's the thing. He's got to do it for the Oporto deal. Now, Sperling, what was your best session out, Cape? Have you had one? Have you had one that's just like been imprinted in your memory forever?
I've definitely had the middles would be my most memorable session, but I think the days that at Cape that have been really good have been the days where and even now you can get it when there's just not that many people out there, and it's a wave where even when it's on shore and it's not that big and it's definitely not quite right, you can still get ripping good barrels out there. So, any day you come in, you've come out of half a dozen or so tubes out there is always a good day.
Is it your favourite wave? in the world?
Well, my middles would be my favourite wave, but Cape, yeah, definitely the beautiful thing about Cape is for its consistency. Like it's on often, so yeah, you never have to wait too long. Yeah, that's for sure.
When was the last time you just surfed a regular beach break?
When was the last time?
With the pod?
Maybe, yeah, could have been. Could have been.
It's a big beach break.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've surfed a beachy. I don't know. I can't.
Because you were saying
actually.
you hate them. You just
I can't. It's all about getting that sand out of all your nooks and crannies. It's terrible.
You're a very polished man. I can see you wouldn't like sand too much.
Absolutely. I'm already worn down enough anyway.
That's right. I suppose while we're on the theme of Cape, talking about it, and my regular question I ask all of our guests is, what's your heaviest beatdown? I'm sure you would have had some of the worst.
I reckon my heaviest beatdown of all, and I reckon I've had in my life, I can think back of about half a dozen times where things have looked really quite grim, and you would expect that you'd have this level of panic that you're going to drown, and it's actually been in those moments where I've actually had my most clarity and not panicked at all. I think there's something when shit gets really serious, there's something inside your brain that just goes, don't fucking freak out now or you will die. And I think back to probably my heaviest one is I had this one day in Fiji. I was staying just with my wife and I chartered a boat for like the obscene amount of money. I think it was $250 to go out to Frigates Pass, which if you've ever been out there? No. So
I've been past.
Yeah, so Frigates, so from in the water at Frigates, you cannot see any land. It's 360 degrees of water. It's about 8 kilometres out and well-known tiger shark country. And so anyhow, so we bashed into this wind all the way out there for about an hour. And then when I got there, there was like 4 or 5 blokes from a boat just getting back into their boat to go. And it was just me with my boat, and the wind had turned and it was all sort of messy. So it was like, well, I've paid for this, let's go fishing for a bit. So we putted around for a bit, caught a big 20-kilo wahoo, which was good. And then the wind just dropped to nothing, like fully dead calm, nothing. And the waves were like, 6 foot, a couple of bigger ones, and it was sort of a building swell. And I was like, this looks, I've got to go. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I'm hoping that my Fijian doesn't fall asleep and wash away. So I jump in the water and swim out there, get a couple of waves, but then this swell was filling in. It was like 20-second period, and I was sitting out. I had to whistle to myself because it was so quiet there. All I could hear was and the current was going further up the reef, so the boat was getting further and further away. You had to keep on swimming back towards the boat, so I was freaking out a bit. But then another boat with a couple of surfers showed up, and the swell started really building and got up to about 10, 12 foot. They were just like lines that just went to the horizon, and I took one of those big ones into, like a bus-sized barrel that I was never any chance of making, mind you, and got a hold down and popped up, I reckon 100 metres further down the reef and went. That was pretty fucking serious.
It's Fiji's just on another planet.
Yeah, it's. There's a bunch of good waves around there. I don't know if Cloudbreak's the best wave for body surfing, but certainly those Coral Coast ones, and we've been. I did a boat trip out off the Forbidden Islands down there, so some good waves around there.
For sure. It's when I went over there and body surfed, it can be like that. It can be windy as heck and then just stop.
Yep.
And then the swell just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's just strange. It's like nothing else, like definitely nothing here on the East Coast that we have.
Long period swells.
Yeah.
For sure.
So Timmy, just before you jump in, I want to just ask, you're a bit like Timmy in a way. I look at you two. And
you got both
Timmy,
got glasses.
yeah, that's right. You got both got
we
glasses.
were talking about how hard it is to see when we're body surfing.
Yeah. Oh, well, yes. And like yourself, Timmy's an avid free surfer. He doesn't like the handboard. But I want to ask you a little bit about an Instagram post you did a couple of months ago.
It's a little controversial.
It was. I think it's been edited since. I believe it read, the hardest thing about handboarding is telling your parents. Would you like to elaborate on that? And then following on from that, can you explain the idea behind the hand surfer?
Right.
Because, I mean, I think
that's a well-packaged question, one.
Were you riding a hand surfer in that?
I was riding a hand surfer, absolutely. Okay. Since I do sell the hand surfer,
yes.
so it's a shameless plug, isn't it?
Yeah. So you don't like using handboards.
Yes.
But you do sell one.
I do sell one. That's true. Your personal opinion shouldn't stand in the way of good business.
That's right. Yeah, very true. Now, I don't think the hand surfer's that bad. I've seen one.
What is the hand surfer?
So the hand surfer dates back to like about 1968.
Okay.
And it was bought out by at the time when Dunlop Foam were making all the foam blanks for Australia. Like all Australian-made surfboards were made out of Dunlop foam blanks, and so they released this. At the time, it comes with 2 straps, which are now Velcro, but the original ones I've only seen a picture of were actually little mini leather belt buckles that you went down and strapped on. So, and that's when I was, body surfing back when I was 10, 11, 12 years old. I had a hand surfer, and they were made in Manly at the time. And anyway, so when I decided I bought a water sports business, and I thought it needed a handboard in the range. So I saw the hand surfer was not being made anymore, so like all good businessmen, I knocked it off in China, and
all about sustainability.
Not the same environmental credentials as Ricky there, but certainly I think some of mine maybe get melted down and made into those recycled plastic ones. So someone's got to supply the raw materials.
Well, that's it. I mean, our not our good friend, I haven't met him, but he's a great listener of the show. Jenner's Travels. What's his real name? I've got it written down here somewhere. Jenner Damien. He gave it a pass at $15. They're $15, aren't they?
I've been back in touch with him, and he's got it on the shopping list.
Oh, does he? Right.
Yeah,
okay. So where are they sold?
Well, I suspect he was in Sideways Surf up there on the Gold Coast, so I can't tell you the list of all the places that they're sold.
Yeah, but they do work.
They do work. Absolutely legitimate. On my Instagram page, I think you've got some video footage of me out at Cape using one. So, yeah, absolutely no problem, and you never lose one.
Well, there you go. Unlike wedding rings, I've heard.
Yeah, I've lost a few. Only 3.
3?
3.
Were they on purpose?
Just like that big shout out to my wife.
Yeah. They're a bit more than $15 each, I'm guessing.
The first one was platinum. It was quite expensive.
Jeez.
The next 2 were with titanium. I buy them on eBay these days, so they're quite disposable.
Is this like the Rabbitohs hooker that like, I lost my wedding ring in the Sydney Harbour and it ends up in a Darwin drug den?
I'm pretty sure it hasn't shown up yet.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, a bit earlier, you were mentioning some big names in the body surfing community, and one of the maybe the biggest names going around is Don McCready from DMC Fins. Your relationship dates back a while. When did you meet him, and what's your friendship like these days?
Yeah, look, I pretty much met Don in the late 90s, I think. And so I think when you start body surfing, and, back in the 90s as a body surfer, there was really no community. But, inevitably all roads lead to Don, and he kitted me out with some fins, and he was running a website back then, which I think was bodysurf.net.
Okay.
Had chat boards and whatnot. We put on together a few contests together over a 2 or 3 year period that connected us with the Newcastle crew. So I've done business with Don as well. I've distributed some of his products over the years, and we're still very much on good terms. He grew up in Coogee, so but yeah, we don't see each other a huge amount of times just because, why would I go to Avalon? I mean, it's, Yeah.
So
I've actually one wave I've never ticked off is Little Avalon. I've been up there a couple of times to surf it and never had it right. So if anyone wants to give me a call out when it's on, I'll try and make it.
But I guess you're in deep now with the Cape boys. There's Ricky, there's Nick, there's Corey. Anyone else that you regularly swim with there?
No, that's the main crew that's normally.
And did
down
you
there,
all meet at Cape, or did you know of them before?
Nick hit me up on Instagram and said he wanted to surf Cape, and so I think maybe the first day we surfed with Nick was out at Voodoo on a sort of 6 to 10 foot day. It was massive, and I said to him, when the big ones come, you just got to go to the bottom and keep on swimming. And he caught the wrong wave and wore a set, and he sort of vanished. I was like thinking, how am I going to tell his girlfriend that he's just he's no? I think I sent a jet ski round to pick him up. He was most of the way to Boat Harbour. So so it was Nick, and then I think maybe 2 or 3 sessions later, Nick's like, I bought a friend. And then the friend had bought a friend, and then so sooner or later, I've met up with all those guys.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's kind of what I was asking before with the body surfers surfing there now. And I mean, even I went out the other day, and that was my first time out there. It wasn't a huge day, but I've been out there now, and will look to push myself further. Is it I feel as if you're the president of the club. So, like, the people have
Did I give you permission? I don't recall that.
That's right. You're like the Kobe to allow the gatekeeper of the body surfers at Cape. Is it an open invite, or is it kind of still like you have to earn your stripes? I do a podcast, mate. That's my pitch.
One of my mates, Grant from up at Newcastle, he comes down every now and again for over the last 10 years for middle sessions, and he did smash his knee up pretty badly out at Cape. So if you know what you're doing and you respect those that have been and wait your turn and all the rest of it. I mean, all just that good surf etiquette, I think.
Yeah, it's I guess it's dying a little bit. I always knew that watching Cape when I was younger and seeing how insane it was, and going, I'll never get out there. But I knew that all the Groms coming up would eventually test themselves out there, and that's what we're starting to see now. We're seeing the guys that were watching it growing up going, I'm going to surf that one day, and they're out there now. I think of some of the guys that that I've seen surf for a while. They've just turned like 17, 18. They got their licenses so they can drive out there now. And I've seen Cape get like 10, 15 people on a really terrible day now. And
are you talking about board surfers
board
as well?
surfers,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's ridiculously crowded. I mean, there's days that I'll target now and go, this is like a fickle sort of day. This will go under the radar, and then there'll be 10 or 15 people out there. Yeah. Like, what?
But they're good. The guys that are surfing it now, the young guys, they're quite good.
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree. The level of surfing's definitely improved, and I mean, all these breaks are a bit the same. There's always that sort of mystique about it. I remember when I went over and surfed a pipeline. Like there was so much mystique about it. And I remember being out in the water when the first wave broke at Third Reef, and you look around and go, is anyone panicking here? But all the Brazilian female bodyboarders, they weren't panicking, so I felt comforted by that.
Where do you see the sport growing to, Sperlo? I mean, it's I feel as if you kind of stand a bit back from it. Like you're a great body surfer. I'm not trying to blow wind up your backside, but you're one of the people that's very kind of quiet about the whole thing. So,
I guess that's because for so many years, I mean, when I first started surfing all these places, there was no body surfers. It's I was surfing out at Voodoo back in the mid-90s, body surfing. I would have surfed out there for 5+ years before I saw anyone. So I don't need to get in. I wasn't really looking for friends. They sort of found me. But I take them all in.
Well, mate, you can always, if you want to break your beach I guess, virginity.
Well,
Again.
It's a second coming.
Yeah. Well, if you want to make the second coming on the beach, we're open for team members at Wampoff next year. We've got one spot available.
Right. Yes. No, well, I've been knocking back offers all year waiting for this, but I'm still going to take a minute.
Okay.
Who else has been pursuing you?
Mate, we can. I'll try and find some of your lost wedding rings. I'll do anything. Now, tell us a little bit about your other ventures, mate. I now I've as much as you want to go into, obviously, because I feel as if as a businessman you're the front of the company, and I spoke to many people last week, and they're saying, "Oh, Ricky was pretty reserved on the podcast," and you get him off, and he's all laughs, and he's the face of his company. He needs to be very careful about what he says.
Yep.
But from conversations I've had with Corey, you're very behind the scenes, so your face isn't in front of the company. You do a lot of exporting sort of thing.
I mean, Ricky's company is very different to mine. He's very much to one product company. I mean, I know he's got a few different styles and whatnot. My company is a number of different business units. I have an automotive part. I have a truck and fleet business. I have a water sports company which I bought. And I have do domestic and pet products. So I have 3,000 products in my range. I'm not going to get out there and be the face of all of those.
Yeah.
Plus, I have a face for radio. Not
I heard about, and I need to confirm this with you. Do you do the rugby? I should say rugby, not rugby, because we've got Peter Villandis in the as CEO now. The rugby league seat covers.
Yeah, no, we do. We do rugby. NRL and AFL seat covers, floor mats, steering wheel covers. Yep.
Timmy, we might be able to get your Sharkies one.
Oh yeah, have you got them in your car?
No, I believe I don't.
Are you a fan of the NRL?
It scares people, but I can oscillate between Chooks and the Bunnies. So,
that is scary.
That is scary. But I sort of when I moved to the eastern suburbs, there was the Bunnies weren't in the competition, so I chose the Roosters. Then I moved south towards Maroubra, so I'm sort of got a foot in each camp, depending on who's winning at the particular time.
Can you do a custom job on the seat covers? Could you do a Budgie Boys one?
I could definitely do a Budgie Boys one. That
could
be a
you?
problem.
Oh, well.
We do. We have 20 people in manufacturing, sort of locally.
Yeah.
So
well, we've got our little keels designed with the Budgie Boys little logo on it. So maybe we might be able to work something out, Timmy.
Mate, we can't even organise hoodies, so I don't know how seat covers are going to go.
Yeah, we're getting hoodies for summer, guys. So put your order in for that as well.
Something for the Christmas hamper.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Woofo actually wanted us to launch the Christmas hamper tonight, Owie, but I think we've got to save it till next week.
Oh yeah, we can't I mean, we do have someone here that could talk us through a lot of the logistics around how we're going to work this, because I'm fairly certain we don't know what we're doing.
No. How hard can it be to run a raffle?
Yeah, well, I thought it was quite easy, but apparently it's not. But we've got prizes from, I think it's over like 10, 12 companies that have all sent things to us to be able to raffle off. It's over $3,000 worth of prizes. What about you, Spello? Mate, can you throw a hand surfer in?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I could probably throw two in. It comes in two colours.
Here we go. We got two hand surfers as well. Hot off the press. Another prize to go.
Absolutely.
We've got some name suggestions in the comments. The 12 Days of Wampmas.
Not bad.
Which was good. But at the end of the day, it's one big raffle. We're not giving away, they're not over 12 days. We're just doing one day. We're going to draw all the raffle tickets in one show. We'll do it live and we'll get the prizes out to everyone. Now, Wolfo has said to us that we need to get people direct messaging us. I believe I do have a little he's written up a PDF.
Yeah, and we'll go into it more detail, but if you want to quickly mention a few things, we go for it now.
Listen, not really. Yeah. I think it's just we've got the raffle tickets to give away. They're going to be, I think they're going to be $5 a ticket.
Yeah.
And you're getting a certain amount. I think it's like if you get paid $25 is it $20
I
you
think
get
15
5?
you get 5, and
Yeah.
then 50 you get a couple more.
We're doing maths here. But yeah, I think we'll dedicate a show to it next week on Between the Sets.
Yeah.
And really focus in on it. And yeah, we're going to try and get this in and out. So please have your cash ready to buy the tickets. And as Spello's just said, he's got 2 little hand surfers.
Jeez.
So I mean,
retailing at $30.
Absolutely.
That's not bad.
I think the RRP is $20.
Ooh.
So
I'm not a big fan of the handboards, but I'm obsessed with trying to work out how to do double.
well, that's what. See, you should have got the wave blades. Mate.
Yeah, I lost my set too. I gave them away, to be honest. And but
See-
maybe you could use a hand surfer on each.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's a doable thing.
I've tried it with the bad fish, 2 bad fish, not bad, pretty good.
It's a doable thing. Maybe I'll take that to Cape and
I would love
do
you
the,
seeing
do
go
the,
down
do
the
the
Cape
double.
with
Do the double.
Oh my goodness, that'd
So
be
I'll see what we
insane.
can do.
Well,
Maybe,
Sperlo, maybe do you have any parting words for us? You, as I said, you're the Mark Cunningham of Australian body surfing. I've dubbed you Grandpa Solander forever now. You could change your Instagram handle to that if you would like. I wouldn't suggest it, but mate, for us young at heart,
yeah. Well,
what do you got? What do you got for us?
Look, I just like to see guys going out there and sort of pushing it, and the motto that I've always used all the way through is when I've been pushing the limits is you always just get out there, and that's where you win, just by getting out there. If you don't catch a wave, that's okay. At least you got out there and put yourself in a position where if one comes, you can take it. And I've never ever come in and not caught a wave, mind you. So I do say I don't have a zero threshold to pain or anything like that, and it can be scary when it's big, but my superpower is that I just forget all the bad stuff really quickly. So so then I keep on doing stupid things one time after another, and rules to live by.
Really good advice there, Sperlo. Thank you so much. So as we wrap this podcast up, I'd just like to say thank you to Guy Butcher again.
Yes.
For giving us the Patinga to give away. Now, as a reminder, everyone listening to this show right now, if you voted on the Patinga competition, you're entitled to 15% off. I'm pretty sure it's any board.
Wow.
Now, I didn't confirm that with Guy, so maybe it could just be the Patinga. Anyway, it's 15% off. If you really like the Patinga, go and have a chat with Guy. I'm sure he can do you a deal. All you have to do is say the Budgie Boys sent you.
Yeah.
And mate, that's great, Mark. Is that good marketing?
That is good. That is good.
Is that good? Is that how it works in the biz? Is that how you just say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If you're looking for some, I'll go with that. Yeah. I was just thinking, can please nobody hit me up for a discount off the hand surfer? You're only going to save $3. Don't be a tight ass.
All right, mate. Well, do you know the sign? I know you've never listened to the show before. Do you know the sign off?
No.
Well, we got to get out of here.
Don't forget, it's overhead when you're body surfing. Whoa! You beauty! You ripper dipper!
Catch you later.
Bye.
Very good.